is creativity. So creativity, not everyone is creative. Yes, but it's contagious. It's contagious. After some time, you begin to become creative. But if you learn a principle, it will appear that you are creative because you will know, you will understand a lot of things that once you do them, it appears that you are creative. For example, looking at this design um, on your screen, can you see this design on your screen now? Are you there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes,
sir.
sir. We can see.
Okay. Now, if you look at the design on your screen now, you see the headers, the like where we say cost overview. If if you're a professional graphic designer, one of the principles there you have to apply is the principle of emphasis. So you will know that even if it's emphasized, it needs to be bolder. It needs to be, the readability needs to be more. It should call attention. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? It should call attention. Now, there are some other things like the balancing after that overview, the typography below are not aligned. Now, if you understand principle, you will know that, oh, this typography needs to be aligned for it to engage the readers very well, for the reader to enjoy it. And there are other things, that, if you just understand principles, you just know that, oh, if I do this, my graphics will look unique. Now, one of the things she did very well is to apply a principle of less, even in the color. Less is more is a principle, for instance. Knowing that you don't put all manner of colors in your design because there are over 4 million types of colors you can choose from in your color palette, and you want to use 20 or 30 because you have about 4 million. It's wrong. So, plus, if you check there, you see white and black, then orange. White and black in design is one color, then orange. So it's basically two colors. That design you're seeing now is basically two colors, black and white, because black is minus, white is minus. Minus minus is plus. You did mathematics. Then we have another color, which is orange. So less is more. So she applied that principle there. I'm talking about the principles she applied, and it's actually working. So if you understand the principles of graphic design, which we're going to look at, about 6 or 7 of them, then you now understand that graphic is about typography and photography and idea, then you are good to go. You are done. You are done with the course. You're actually done. Typography, photography, idea. Like I said, ideas, it's not everyone that is creative, but it's contagious. When you keep doing it and keep doing it, keeps looking well. So one thing I want to encourage you guys to do now is, once you're going on the streets tomorrow, if you see billboards, you see flyers, you see posters, newspaper, pick them up and look at what the designers have done. That can inspire you. That can give you idea. If you are watching, if you have DSTV or GoTV, there are a lot of graphics that is being done there. You just look at it, feed your mind. So by the time you feed your mind for a very long time, then you can contact that spirit of creativity. But normally, not everyone is creative. So the clue to be creative is to be inquisitive, is to be willing to look at other people's job and see, oh, this is what this guy did. This guy is an excellent graphic designer. Let me do something like what he did. And after some time, the creativity will come in. But there are people that are naturally creative. They are naturally creative. That once you ask them to do something, like last week, there was an NNPC event taking place in Dubai, and the graphic designer was asked to do a job, and they did the job. The job was looking somehow, and the madam, I think is the head of the communication. When he saw it, she was not happy. So someone suggested that, in fact, I used to be the one that makes these things for NNPC, but when they sold NNPC and made it when a limited liability company, some people had interest, so they took it away from me. So they are now using who know who, you know. So the mother was not happy. The new head of communications was not happy. So one of the ladies in that team said, there is this guy that used to do it before that. So they called me. As soon as they called me, they said they needed it tomorrow because the woman is, they called me on Saturday morning by 6 a.m. The woman needs to travel by Sunday, that I have to do it and print it that Saturday. What I did was, I said, okay, I picked the job. And because the creativity is there, I understand the principles, I understand the theory of colors, I understand everything about design. It was not difficult for me. Before evening, it was already ready. Though the woman had her issues, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, but before you know it, by month, she traveled on Monday, but it was ready by that Monday. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that once you know the fundamental principles, you know the element, these are actually secondary, you are good to go in graphic design. It's that simple. You know just the principle. One of the principles can be emphasis, it can be harmony, it can be continuity, it can be principle of proximity. You know, principle of proximity, for instance, the principle of proximity states that related items should be grouped together. For example, now you are you're doing a flyer or something. You should know that your address, your phone number, your email address, your website is intended for people to be able to contact you. So that principle guides you now that these things that are related should be placed in grouped together. Anything related in that project should be grouped together. So if you understand these principles, then you are good to go. So like I said before, it's very easy, very, very easy. And by the time we start looking at it, sharing my screen, and I begin to tell you, you will find it more interesting. So we'll be looking at CorelDRAW and Photoshop basically. So if you have a system, you need to install the software, CorelDRAW and Photoshop. And if you don't have a system, for the sake of this training, you can buy something cheap to enable you. And if you can still not buy, you can borrow. It's a great opportunity. You can borrow. Because I can use all these phone softwares to do these designs, but it has a limit that it can go. But if you can do it, learning the principles very well will improve your job. If you can do phone graphics, or after this course, if you can learn it somewhere with the concept you will learn from this training, you should be able to improve your design, will have a better outlook. I can guarantee you that. So that is what I said I should share with you guys for today. So we'll be looking at Photoshop and CorelDRAW. We'll be looking at some of the courses you are saying on the modules. Yeah, though I may not take it in this order, I will have a way of we can start after the introduction of graphic design, we can actually look at we will actually treat everything there, but we may not do it sequentially just as it is written here. But by the end of this course, we should be able to have finished everything we have on the screen. And I think we'll be glad we actually attended this course. If there's any question you want to ask, you can ask while you introduce yourself, and we'll be good to go. Thank you very much. Hello?
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much, Andy. Okay, so I would like to give the students the opportunity to ask questions, talk about their expectation, talk about any concerns they might have. Two people already said they do not have laptops. Just talk to us a little bit so that he can understand who he's dealing with, so that when the class starts properly on Tuesday, he's able to know who has what strengths, who is thinking which way, where he should emphasize more and all that. So I think that today is basically like orientation, introduction, and then to get to know each other. So I will start from Sir Joe. Who is Joe? Sir Joe, who is that?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Please go ahead and introduce
Good evening.
yourself.
Thank you. Good evening to the facilitator. This is Mr. Joseph
Okay.
Moses.
Okay.
I'm a school professor, primary school,
Oh yeah, I remember you.
based in Lagos.
Okay.
My journey into the tech world began 2020 during the lockdown when schools were shut down, and I asked myself, if it continues, will I not be out of job? So I decided to learn one or two things, and from there, it's been quite interesting. Doing even the data entry, I thought it's a rocket science. During the program and other trainings, I discovered that it's actually what someone can do. So my interest in this graphic design, I've been doing graphic design. In fact, I teach 20 people. But oftentimes when opportunities call for a remote job, most of the requirements include Adobe Suite and encapsulate the Adobe Illustrator, the InDesign, and the Adobe Photoshop. So I was looking for a way to advance my skill on that particularly, and I'm also happy because when I asked the Mrs. Dane, she did not mention CorelDRAW, but now that it has been included, I'm so much happy about it. So my question is, these other packages, the InDesign and the Adobe Illustrator, how fast can we get hands on them? Because the request for this much in terms of contract or remote employment.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. So can I talk now?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Joe, I heard what you
Sir.
said. If I will repeat what you said that you started tech and you've had the opportunity to learn Photoshop, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, and but you're happy that CorelDRAW is
No,
being
correct.
introduced.
So
Okay, but
CorelDRAW.
what you are learning is CorelDRAW basically, right?
Yes, what I
No.
learned
Okay,
was
so I think what he's
CorelDRAW.
trying to say is that on our brochure, we talked about Photoshop and Illustrator. That he's happy to learn that CorelDRAW and InDesign is involved. So I want to find out from you. What I know that our focus for this class will be Photoshop and CorelDRAW mostly. Are you going to touch a little bit on Illustrator? And he was talking about InDesign. Would you be able to just navigate that a bit for them? I think that's what he's trying to know.
Okay.
Exactly.
InDesign, we have what we call Adobe Creative Suite. They have over 20 softwares. Like what Adobe does is that if they want to edit photography, they create what they call Adobe Lightroom for photography. Photoshop is for graphic design.
Right.
InDesign is for the word in. It's for publication, like magazine, journals, and the rest. Then we have Adobe UI, Adobe XD for user interface design. So we have a lot of Adobe softwares. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So
Yes.
that is the standard in America and Europe. That is what the software they use. But in Africa and in Asia, what is more common is CorelDRAW. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes. In Africa and in Asia, what is more common is CorelDRAW. That is why when you want to learn anything on CorelDRAW,
I could barely hear, sir. I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
I think it's your network. Or the rest of us can hear clearly.
It's network.
Okay, maybe it's mine.
Yes, we can hear clearly.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that in Europe and in America, they use Adobe. The two softwares are American companies that owns them. But it's just that in Asia and Africa, CorelDRAW is widely used. And in Asia, in Africa and Asia, is widely used more than Adobe, this thing. But the truth there is that it is not about the softwares. If you are following a group that was created over almost 20 years ago in 2004, is it 2004? Maybe 2004, 2008, that group was created. Abuja, they call it Ninja Graphic Designers. It
has a huge following.
Yes. It's one of
community,
the biggest community of creative. You see that the people that will always win the best designers are using CorelDRAW.
Right.
If you come to Abuja, the people that are the best designers are using CorelDRAW. So I think the problem is not even the software, it is the guy behind the software. It's guy behind, it's the creativity. Because you can be using a sophisticated software
and not be able to know how to navigate it. Yes.
Yes, and you don't understand principles. For instance, you don't know what you've not taken a course on colors, the theory of colors, where we know we have monochromatic color, we have analogous color, we have complementary colors and other kind of colors. And you don't even understand what primary color, secondary color, or tertiary color means. You cannot navigate through the color wheels. You don't know what color wheels is. You don't know, you'll be struggling. You'll be struggling to get up colors to make your design pop up. Yeah. You don't know what a fantastic color palette will look like. You don't have an idea of it. You understand? So you'll be using the software, you don't know the color, this thing. But with this course we are doing now, if you learn some of these things, you can just go to the internet and just use your Google to search for interesting color palettes that works. You will see a lot of them. So you are using softwares, but you don't know what they call interesting color palettes. These interesting color palettes are sometimes created from nature. Professionals get it from nature. They can get a guava tree that is about to maybe die off. So they use the green part, the part about to die, and the dead part. They just mix the three colors and give you a very interesting color palette. It can be an ostrich, it can be anything. They will just, so if you understand these things, then you will now find out that it is not the software. And I was telling somebody a story recently. If you have read The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, he was saying something very interesting about a farmer that owns a geese and a horse. The geese came to the horse one day. The geese is something like swan, like, what they call a duck, something like duck. He came to the horse and said, you are big for nothing. Me, as small as I am, I can run on the ground. As small as I am, I can even swim on the water. As small as I am, I can fly on the air. So it was making mockery of the horse, and the horse ignored the geese for some time. And the day the horse decided to respond to the geese, he said, I cannot swim on the water, and I cannot fly on the air. There's only one thing I do, which is walking on the ground. He said, but the host of heaven and the men of the earth have recognized me from my strength and how powerful I can be. in battlefield. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So if you understand the power of one, just one software, you will go places and you master it very well. So anybody telling you learn this and like I did in my introduction, that I said I was learning everything that in tech. I was learning everything in tech when I left the university, until I said, oh, let me just focus on graphics. And I'm telling you, in Abuja, if you call 3 graphic designers, if you don't call my name, it means you don't like me. Because in fact, if you come to Abuja, in fact, anywhere you are, if you type graphic design school in Abuja, Google will show you my phone number as number 1. Are you what I'm trying to say? So it's like that, because I have just focused on this thing. This is where I want to be now. So it's the same thing with software, the same thing with profession, it's the same thing with, if you are doing too many things, you cannot be too strong in, you cannot be number 1 in any of them.
Right.
Are you gonna say? So you take, that is why I was telling the facilitator, Ms. Doris, that see, 2 is good. 2 is good. Just take 2. So what Adobe Illustrator, I wanted to, let me say something. I studied accounting, called management accounting, public sector accounting, and taxation. But I now discovered that in America, public sector accounting is a branch of accounting that someone focuses on alone. Taxation is a branch of accounting that someone focuses on. Then private sector accounting is another type of accounting. So we are doing all the accounting and we come out, we are confused. We are not good in tax. We are not good in public sector accounting. We are not good in private sector accounting. But another guy in another country just took one accounting and he's a guru. Are you what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So it's the same thing. So once you want to do these things, if you will be tempted with a lot of softwares, because softwares are over 1,000. Graphic design software, they're over 1,000. Even as I'm talking to you now, someone is deciding a graphic design software. A lot of schools in Europe are using it for practicals. People are inventing graphic design softwares every day. Are you going to? So you'll be tempted with, oh, let's do this, let's learn this. Just focus on 2.
Right.
We would have even focused on 1. It's just that we have what they call rasters and vectors. That is bitmaps and vectors.
Yeah.
So Photoshop is a raster software, which is bitmap. If you use Photoshop to design business card, that is not his job. You either use Illustrator.
Right.
So you can't use Photoshop to do illustrations, arts and illustrations. That is not his job. Anything that is vector based, you don't use Photoshop to do it. Sure. But anything that is picture vectors that are wired, you can let bitmaps and rasters, of pixels. Let me put pixels. You use Photoshop. That is his job. Then CorelDRAW now will help you in vector-based softwares. So what we're doing even in Photoshop is to treat bitmaps, is to work on bitmaps. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So nobody will, they will, you see, an American can even say, can you use Photoshop? Because he feels that is what you should use. But when you are creating it, what they are looking for is the outcome of your creation.
Right.
So when you now create, what you now do is you export to PDF. PDF means portable document folder. That PDF can be opened in any other software you find around the world because it has been converted. So at that point, you don't know what they used to even create. You don't even know what they used to create the project. So did you get that now?
Right, we did. Did you get that, Joe? Is Joe here? Yes. Joe, did you understand that? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I think that in summary, what we're trying to say is that it makes no sense to learn too many softwares, because one or two can do basically everything that you need to do, right? So if you have Photoshop and you have CorelDRAW, you are good. Or if you have Photoshop and you have Illustrator, you are good. So you don't have to have InDesign, have Illustrator, have Photoshop. No, you don't have to have all that. Some people may never use Photoshop. They will only use CorelDRAW. In fact, if you go, like you said, in Abuja, most of these graphic designers, CorelDRAW that they use. It's only those guys who work more on photos, on pictures, that use more of Photoshop. So I think that the CorelDRAW and Photoshop would basically, and besides, how much time do we even have? This program should not be for more than 4 to 6 weeks. If it's even lengthy, maybe 4 weeks, at the very most 6 weeks. I mean, it depends on how generous our facilitator wants to be. So we don't have that all the time. And besides, I think that from the beginning of this training, what I heard him say is, after you know the fundamental things, the rest of it is practice, practice, practice. I don't know if I'm correct, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah.
So the rest of it is more practice, 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 more than, how much time we spend here. Okay, so let's give the other people to introduce themselves so that we don't stay for too long. We might just try to maximize the little time that we have. Is already 9. So I think we already spent about an hour. So let's see if we can spend another 15, 20 minutes and then we can close. The next person I'll call is Apololo. Apololo, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little something if you do have. You can unmute your mic if you're in a place where you can speak. Let us know. If you're not, you can send us a message, text inside the chat box to let us know if you're not in the place where you can speak. Whilst we're waiting for Akpololo, I see his mic is not unmuted yet. Akpololo works in the radio, so maybe he's still at work. But let's hear Bot Samuel. You have something you want to say? You want to introduce yourself? Tell us what you expect. Okay. Yeah, Bot Samuel, let's hear you.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity, Ma. And also thank you, Mr. Andrew, for the introduction. My name is Bot Samuel from Jos Plateau. I'm a teacher and I love art. I love creativity, and which we're in a digital world, and which I choose to learn about graphics because, like, my cousin brother is a photographer, and sometimes he used to go and edit pictures in the lab. So I just want to use this medium and learn some concepts so that at least maybe with the little idea that I will get after this course, maybe I can show him 1 or 2 things that he can also use. And I even asked him to register so that he will know about this very much, but I don't know why he didn't register, but I'll give out my best and my time. I'm a novice, I'm new into it, and I will try my possible best to see that I learn so that I'll have the knowledge and skills so that I can do 1 or 2 things. And my expectation at the end of the course is for me to be kind of maybe in 1 or 2 activities or occasion in our community. I can design some flyers and even banners for people. I believe from there they will appreciate, and some of them will engage in the future. They will engage in this program. So that's my expectation. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you so much, Pat Samuel, and thank you for always believing in everything that we do. I notice that whatever issues we talk about or we're trying to put out there, you're always interested to participate. Okay, so let's hear Mr. Chima Emmanuel. You want to introduce yourself, tell us your expectation or any comments you have?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Chima Emmanuel. I'm a realtor. I sell properties in Abuja, and I really want to use this opportunity to advance my marketing skill so that I can be able to reach out to most of my audience and be able to also coach other people that I know work with me, because I know that knowledge is transferable. So if I'm able to get it, I have some couple of people that work with me. I can be able to also transfer the knowledge to them, without necessarily them passing through the same time and all of that. So that is my expectation at the end of the day, that my graphic design skill will be top notch. I can design myself, I can design for other people, and I can teach it as well. These are my expectations. And I want to thank our host who organized this very training and made it up for them. Because I must tell you, it is free of charge. Actually, we are getting this knowledge. So I want to thank her and also our facilitator. From few things he has said, I've gained a lot already. And I know that as we go into the more practical, well, it will worth the time. Thank you very much, Anova.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chima. You're also someone who's committed to wanting to be a part of our community and trying to key into everything that we have on offer. Thank you so much for coming. We hope that all of our expectations will be met by the grace of God. Okay, so let's hear Akwalolo. If you're there, you can speak, you can go ahead. If not, let's hear Mikasa. Who is Mikasa? Mikasa. Who's that? It will be nice if you use your real name on the name of your Zoom so that we can be sure who exactly the person is. So go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Actually, my name is David Sansa. So I was using my laptop and I forgot to edit the name of this Zoom. So it's appearing as a Newcastle.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so just a quick one. Actually, I left photography some year back, but it was just a very, very brief, it was a brief something. So I didn't go too much into it. So then I'm in retail management, but I'm trying to transition into tech with the data entry cohort, which I joined recently, thanks to Push Africa. And so personally, I just want to explore new creative interests and passions. So that's the reason why I'm registering for this graphic design, because I feel like it's going to help me to increase my job prospects, and I'll be earning potential with advanced skills. And also, I'm very, very eager to learn from an experienced instructor, because so far from what I've heard from him, I'm so interested, and I'm so eager that he would be the one to educate us more on this graphics design. So I'm very excited about that. And I have to say a big thank you to Push Africa for putting out this platform. And I'm so much grateful and really so excited to be a part of this.
All right, thank you so much, Mikasa. And thank you all very much for being in the same spirit. I'm really happy whenever I see anyone, especially the people who have been part of our training before or has been participating in other things that we've organized, and they're interested in other things that we're doing. I mean, it just gives me great pleasure because it shows to me that you're getting value. That's why you keep coming back. So I really appreciate your commitment, to be a part of our community. Okay, let's hear Okafor Ifeoma. Okafor is also practically everybody here has been a student of ours. Okafor Ifeoma, I think she's our nursing assistant trainee, and she really wanted to do this. If you are there, please unmute your mic and introduce yourself and tell us about your expectation. We have less than 6 minutes to go, so I would appreciate if the subsequent people who will speak will be brief so that others can speak. Go ahead, Ifeoma.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Mrs. Ifeoma Okafor, normally called Ivitonia. I'm so happy to join this call because it has been long. I wanted to learn this graphic designing, but I don't know how to go about it. So when I saw it in this organization, I was so happy because I'm someone that likes all this designing of a thing. So I put so much interest on it because I can use it to design many things of myself. I do Facebook adverts, and there's some stuff I'm doing online, so I can be able to design my own flyer, design whatever I want to design and use it. So that's why.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Chioma, for subscribing. I'm sure that by the end of this training, you'll be able to achieve all of those goals that you have. So thank you for coming. How is your nursing training going? Okay, before she...
It was fine.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, so let's hear Peter Abim, and then we'll hear Zamani, and then we will close. Peter Abim, let's hear your thoughts. What are your expectations? if you are not in a very noisy place, if you think you can make some contributions, please unmute your mic, introduce yourself, and tell us what your expectations are. We have 4 minutes. We can give you 2 out of that 4 minutes. We can give Zamani maybe a minute or 2. But if Peter Abim cannot speak, because I see he has not unmuted his mic, let's hear Zabani, and then we can close. Hello? Yeah. Who's speaking?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, this is Akpololo.
Akpololo. Okay, now you're
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Go ahead. We can give you 1 minute. Please introduce yourself.
Yes,
tell us
yes,
your expectation for this training.
Okay, my name is Ima Akpololo. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm very happy to be here. This is about the future 6 training I'm getting from Push Africa. Push Africa has widened my horizon in journalism.
Thank you.
I've gone to Abuja for the Push Africa journalism training in that same school, university. I've had a lot of Push Africa training before. I'm very happy to be part of this group. I've lived in Abuja, I've worked in several media houses, but Push Africa has actually assisted us in so many areas in journalism and now in the world of computer. So I'm happy to have this training because I have some very smart children and family members who have so many questions. I also want to be educated very well about this course because in the office we use Photoshop and these are Photoshop and the other one to edit most of the programs. So it will be an added advantage for me to know how it works, particularly the 2 programs that they want to use to teach all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Akpololo. As far as I'm concerned, you are one of our co-founders. You are an old established member of Push Africa. Thank you so much for always agreeing to participate in the initiatives that we present. Thank you. Okay, so we will just hear Zamani. It looks like Peter Abim is not here. We'll hear Zamani and then Mr. Andrew will close us and then we'll leave. Zamani, please introduce yourself, tell us your expectation, and then Mr. Andrew will close us and then we'll meet again on Tuesday next week. Zamani, if you're there, if you want to speak or mute your mic, just click on the mic and it will unmute itself. If you cannot speak, you're in a noisy place, or you don't want to introduce yourself, that's okay. Peter, please go ahead. We can give you only 1 minute, Peter. But you're not unmuting your mic. You said you're here, but your mic is muted. We wanted you to introduce yourself and tell us about your expectation for the training. We can give you only 1 minute if you can speak. If not, I can see your mic is still muted. So let's get Andrew to close us. We have only 1 minute, Andrew. Sorry, Andy. Okay, it's in a noisy place. Okay, that's fine. Zamani also cannot speak. So Mr. Andy, just close us. We have only 1 minute, and then we can meet next week, Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you for being a part of everyone that has been part of this. Like I said before, just know that design is simple. It is typography and photography.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Unfortunately,
hello,
Zamani,
I don't know if
we are
you can
closing.
hear me.
We have just a minute, so we might not be able to take your input. Maybe from next class, you can introduce yourself. So we can just have Andrew close us. We have less than a minute. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, like I said before, if you are joining us for the first time, if you have to know that design is simple. It is typography and photography and idea. 3 things I just mentioned. Approach it like that and everything will be fine. So thank you for all your inputs. By God's grace, we'll finish